Hi, good afternoon. This is Judge Gravell. Can you guys hear me? Perfect. We're going to get started with this afternoon's press conference. Williamson County is really pleased to announce that we'll be providing more COVID testing here in the next few days in partnership with the Texas Department of Emergency Management for Texas and Texas Department of Military Services. And the free testing is for symptomatic or asymptomatic individuals, and there will be no appointments necessary. It will be walk-up site locations, and that will begin this next Monday. The first site will be on Monday, July the 6th at Hutto Middle School in Hutto, Texas at 1005 Exchange Boulevard. And the time for the testing there is from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. In fact, the testing all week at the different locations will be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On July the 7th and 8th, we will be at Gerald Middle School for testing there. That address is 105 East Avenue F in Gerald, Texas. And then on July the 9th and 10th, which is Thursday and Friday of next week, at the Liberty Hill Junior High, they're off of 29 in Liberty Hill. This is testing for residents that are in Williamson County or outside of Williamson County, but it's testing that is being provided for our residents and those outside of the county that choose to walk up for the testing. This is the second time that the Texas National Guard's been here in Williamson County. They were first here in Taylor on May the 9th, and we're really very excited about them being here again this next week, and we're grateful for the partnership. I also want to say a special thank you, as you can tell, to our area schools. Williamson County, during this pandemic, has worked really strongly and well with our area schools to provide the best needs for the adults and children in our community. And again, this is another example of school districts stepping up to partner with Williamson County and the state of Texas to care for residents. We have worked really hard with our cities, and our relationship continues to be strong there. We're pretty excited about the testing that will be available this next week, and we would hope that you, those that are a part of the media, would use the platforms that you have to communicate the message. There could be some waits at some of these locations. It's walk-up testing, so you won't have to schedule that ahead of time. And you might be outside in the sun, so this county judge would encourage you perhaps to bring an umbrella to knock the sun down, and maybe a good layer of suntan lotion would help as well if there's long lines. So that's the information that I would like to share with you, and we'll take a few minutes and answer a few questions if that helps you guys.
I'm sorry, it's Claire at the Statesman. I missed the very first part of this because Georgetown just had 3 firefighters test positive for coronavirus. But where are the testing sites going to be?
So, Claire, the testing site will be on Monday, July the 6th at Hutto Middle School from 10 to 6 p.m. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is July the 7th and 8th, they will be at Gerald Middle School. And then on July the 9th and 10th, it will be at Liberty Hill Junior High. So as you can tell, Williamson County is working really hard with our state leaders to make sure that our testing is robust, not only in our more populated areas like Round Rock and Georgetown Cedar Park, but also expanding out into some of our smaller communities where maybe hospitals or healthcare facilities are not located to help. So those are the 3 different locations for the testing sites from 10 to 6 p.m. each day, and it's symptomatic or asymptomatic, which simply means if you have symptoms or you don't, you can come for the testing, and that the testing is free.
Oh. Who's paying for it?
So it's a combination effort. The Texas Department of Emergency Management, Texas National Guard, and the state of Texas are taking care of the testing parts. The school districts are being really kind, allowing us to use their property, so I feel like that's a significant contribution. And then the county as well, at a much smaller level, is providing about $5,000, and that would be for meals, water, snacks, portable bathroom facilities, hand washing stations at all of these locations. So it's just a joint effort of a lot of folks working really hard to protect our residents here in Williamson County.
Hi there, Judge Gravell. This is Lonnie Salazar with KVUE News. Do you hear me all right?
I do. How are you this afternoon?
Good. How are you?
You know, it's we are a long way in the midst of a pandemic, and I feel like our community has responded really well, and I feel like our cities and schools are working together. But to answer your question, how am I? I'm tired. It has been a long haul, I think, for all of us, right? Whether you're an elected official or you're covering the news of elected officials, we've got a lot of good folks that have worked really long and hard. But anyway, that wasn't your question, but thank you.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I think I am curious to know how you were doing mentally and emotionally. I know it's been a hard couple of months for everyone, like you mentioned, but I will direct my question to the mask mandates that I know that a couple counties have been implementing. Hayes and Travis County implemented a mask order, and several cities over the last couple of days have implemented a mask order. We know that Williamson County isn't on that list. I wanted to know if that is something that you're considering, or why or why not that's not going to be implemented, if you can comment on that for us.
Well, so what I would answer the question is this: Williamson County has not issued a mandatory mask order for its residents. We've allowed our cities to take the steps that they think that's really appropriate. I think it's important for local authorities to have that local power and ability to make those decisions. And from the very beginning as county judge, I've encouraged our folks to cover up if you're going out, or cover up with a mask if you're less than 6 feet away from other individuals, and also to practice social distancing. And we've been pretty clear about that from the beginning. It hasn't changed today. Our cities in Williamson County have, like I thought, they have taken steps, and they have made different decisions for their particular cities. And again, it's just collaboration between the schools, the city, the county, and the state, and our federal authorities working together to preserve and protect life. What's unique about Texas, you ask why some counties and why not others. That's what's amazing about Texas. We're 254 counties strong, and each different entity, county government, has the ability to make decisions that they want at their level. And we've been afforded that opportunity. We have followed the governor's direction, and we continue to follow the governor's direction on this issue.
So right now, we shouldn't expect an order made by the county to implement this, mandatory.
Absolutely, that's correct.
And my next question, sorry, just one more question. Our station calculated that there's been a 294% increase in cases in Williamson County, and your health authority says that testing is up by 18% over the last 2 weeks. We just wanted to know why those numbers were so drastically different. Was there an issue with testing, and is that why there's an announcement now with more testing sites?
Well, so I would say that this announcement today for more testing sites is not in relation to anything that you've mentioned. This has been something that we've been working with emergency management and the National Guard, I think, for at least 3 or 4 weeks now. We've always felt like it's been really important in Williamson County to test our residents, and I think we're doing that through a lot of different ways. And so if I can go into that, I would like to. Not only is our health district providing a testing location for symptomatic cases, but we also have a private facility that we're partnering with at 2 locations, Cedar Park and Round Rock, that's testing residents that are symptomatic or asymptomatic, again, at no cost. And then when there's the opportunity, obviously we partner with the Texas Department of Emergency Management and the National Guard. Every everyone that I know of in the region is working hard and pushing hard for testing. But the one thing that I'm committed to here as county judge is we need to do testing that's accurate. We need to do testing that works. And we believe, based upon the best recommendation from our health professionals, that the nasal swabs are still the best path for testing and the ones that are most accurate. So we're not going to compromise on that, but we're going to work really hard to test the individuals that need to be tested or those that have concerns.
Don't the other sites, the health district has a site in Georgetown, right?
That's correct, yes.
Don't those sites and the family emergency room sites, don't they require a doctor's referral first?
Actually, none of them require a doctor's referral. You do, Claire. You do have to, the testing site for the health district in Georgetown that the county is funding and paying for uses an app online that you have to answer certain probative questions. And if you answer them at the family announcing today, that will be taking place next week. And I do think this perhaps is the path in the future for testing. They are just walk-up site locations. You don't have to have an appointment. We just promote the time and the location, and you can walk up there. Now, there are pluses and minuses with that. You can get in to get tested, but you may have to wait as well, too. So I do know in Round Rock this past Saturday, the National Guard had a testing site there, and I think 412 individuals were tested in 4 hours, which I think is just, it's amazing. There was a wait for some of the folks, but they were all able to be tested that needed to be, that were there in line at the time. So.
And that was a walk-up testing site?
That is correct, yeah.
Well, why have a walk-up? How did y'all decide on a walk-up testing site for these schools instead of a driving one? Yeah,
Claire, I would love to take credit for that, but the reality is the Texas National Guard and Texas Department of Emergency Management, TDEM, they've been doing this all across the state, and I think they've really just perfected the formula. It's not a decision we made here at the local level. They've just said this is how we're going to be doing testing in the days going forward. I can tell you, because our health district does a drive-in test site, the drive-in test requires a lot of staff and employees. It's obviously more convenient for those that are wanting to be tested. But for example, in a 4-hour period there or a 3-hour period there, we're really fortunate if we can test 50 people. So I think the National Guards just learn from best practices.
Do you have any idea of how many people they hope to get tested or what their capacity is? Or
well, they're willing to test everyone that's there within that time frame. I think it would be amazing, because between Liberty Hill and Jarrell and Hutto, it may be less populated than perhaps like Round Rock. But if we were to test 250 people in that 4-hour period, I would be ecstatic, because in the end that would be 5 days of testing, and that's a significant amount of people.
And residents from all over Williamson County can go to those sites?
Yeah, the National Guard sites that are standing up on Monday at Hutto and Jarrell and Liberty Hill, actually you can be a resident of any county in Texas and get in for testing.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And I'm hopeful. Let me just say this from the onset. If we can do the testing in Liberty Hill, and not only does it take care of Williamson County residents, but Burnett County residents have a place for testing, that's pretty amazing, because that's closer to home for them. And the same thing in Jarrell. We may see folks from Salado or Belton, Bell County, or even Milam County that come over. Listen, the pandemic really knows no boundaries. And to work collaboratively with these other agencies and to work to protect our region is important. And whatever we can do to help Milam County, they've been working as hard to help us, as well as Bell and Burnett, Travis, and so on. So we're grateful to be able to work together. Okay, one last question before I sneak out. Anybody else?
I have some that have come over the phone. So one was from CBS Austin. In Commissioner's Court, you said that the county doesn't have the authority to enforce a mask requirement, and can you further explain that?
Yeah, so The county, I don't know if you could hear, the question was, I said in Commissioner's Court today that the county doesn't have the authority to enforce. What the governor said expressly in his executive order is that counties and cities could establish ordinances if they wanted to, or they could establish guidelines if they wanted to enforce those against businesses. And what I said today in Commissioner's Court is that the county doesn't have the authority to be punitive toward residents who aren't complying with the local mask orders, but cities do. For example, the city of Round Rock met last night and they created an ordinance. And under Texas law, cities have the authority to create laws, but under Texas law, counties don't have the authority to create law. The county government, we're a subset of state government, and only the state of Texas can create laws here in Texas.
So, in other words, are you saying you could issue guidelines to wear masks in the county, but the county has no authority to enforce that? That's
exactly right. And Claire, the other cities have, and other counties have issued guidelines that you must wear a mask, but at the very end of their orders, it says clearly these are just recommendations. And we have, from the beginning, I mean, it may be new to some counties to issue recommendations to wear a mask, but we've been issuing that recommendation, to my knowledge, from probably about March the 20th, that folks should wear a mask, practice social distancing, covering if they've got a cough or sneeze. And really the most important thing is if you're sick, stay home, right? Don't go to work. Go to the workplace. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. And thank you for
so much.
Getting the story out about the testing sites. And hopefully we'll see some of you out there in the next few days. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.